Hey everyone, welcome to r/Tales from Tech Support, where we get to have a little chuckle at the technologically disadvantaged. Like me. I'm Uncle Reddit, and have I got a story for you. Guy who lied on his CV. We had a guy join our IT team, only 5 of us for a company of about 1,000 around the country. He was meant to be an escalation point for myself and another member, so we didn't have to go so high up for help. Dude was so bad I couldn't believe it. He didn't understand how AD worked or 365 or anything. He's shipping out laptops without power supplies. He's setting up phones without MDM on them. He's creating accounts on the wrong domain. Spent like a day changing the settings on an iPad so it looks pretty and easy for the users, despite our guide telling us to standardize as much as possible to provide easier support. Anyway, this is the funniest one. A user had a problem with her printer, so he went to the user and checked on her PC. He decided to image her PC. Slightly disgruntled, the user logs back in an hour later and the printer's still not working. She politely logged a ticket asking for help. He walks over there and tells her she doesn't know what she's talking about and that she's not IT. Grrr. He checks the printer. No messages. He checks the PC. Grrr. He images the PC again, walks away and leaves for the day. Leaves a note in the ticket saying that he has imaged the PC and that the user is annoying? WTF. User can't print the next day, at which point he escalates it backwards to me? He's meant to be senior to me by about $15,000. User had just been selecting the wrong printer as our printers are not easy to identify by names. Fix that. Printed and was success. She then asked about her Acrobat Pro, which I had to reinstall, reset her account password and login. Some macros for Excel needed to be set up. She spent the rest of the day getting her bookmarks back and getting the PC back to how she liked it. Felt bad for her, at least she hadn't saved work on the C drive because he just imaged it without even asking her. Lol. It amazes me how many people will dive into a job not really understanding what they're doing and thinking everybody else is just stupid and making the dumbest decisions ever. You mean it doesn't detach? I'd been working for a certain fruit-based tech company in frontline support for about 6 months, and had just started taking computer calls after months of mobile calls. Call comes in. I greet the customer and gather basic customer info. Then I ask the reason for the call. Cast, clueless customer. Me, senior advisor. Clueless customer. So I got this brand new MacBook Pro as a gift and it's not working. Me, what is it that's not working? Clueless customer. Well, I saw the commercial on TV that showed I could turn my computer into a tablet by detaching the keyboard. I heard a crunch and it never separated. Me, crickets. What commercial? Clueless customer. Yeah, the Pro commercial. It shows you can remove the keyboard and just use the screen. Me, sir, we don't have anything like that. Clueless customer. Yes, you do. There's a commercial. Me, sir, the only thing like that you're describing is the new Surface Pro made by Microsoft. We're not Microsoft. The Surface line hadn't been out long when this call happened. Clueless customer. But it's a Pro and my computer's a Pro, so that's the same. Me. No, they're not. Clueless customer. Well, what can I do? Me. Well, you're going to be looking at out-of-warranty repairs due to accidental damage. Clueless customer. But why should I pay? It's a Pro and the commercial's a Pro. Me. Let me talk to a senior advisor. Hold. Senior advisor. Thank you for calling Help Desk. My name is Advisor. How can I help you? Me. Are you sitting down? Laughter. I explain the crazy situation and more laughter ensues. Senior Advisor agrees to take the call knowing this is one of my first computer calls, and I think just because it's so bizarre. I have no idea how this turned out. All I know is that the guy wrecked a $1,300 plus computer simply because he didn't know that my company and Microsoft are two very different companies. Good times. This was about as good as the guy who somehow managed to delete the phone app from his phone. You would think even the most clueless customers would know the difference between Microsoft and Apple. Yeesh. Thanks, Tales from Tech Support, for helping me with this ticket. I got a ticket last week. Thanks to this sub, I was able to recognize the issue and offer the correct fix before I finished reading it. Here's what I think the ticket said. Okay, now the issue and solution. Hello, I have a problem with my tablet. It keeps typing random letters when I plug it into the classroom dock. It only happens in classroom X. Please, can you help as it's affecting my lessons? Tech. Thanks to countless IT stories of peripherals having things restored on them, I was able to quickly respond. asking the user to check the keyboard connected to the dock and make sure nothing was laying on it, causing a key press. There was a book lying on the keyboard. Fixed. Ticket closed. Back to updating laptops. Well, it's good to know that some of these stories really are helpful in the real world. Never offer to help for free. Obligatory, don't work in tech support. Not 100% sure if this fits here, sorry if it doesn't. So stop by the local corner shop, convenience store for our metrically impaired friends, to pick up some lunch on my way home. Shop owner, who I've known all my life, was having a little trouble printing a couple email attachments and asked me for some help. Thinking it would be a simple case of walking him through printing attachments from Outlook, I agreed to help him. Big mistake. In the end, it turned out to be 2 or 3 issues that were just annoying to troubleshoot. Issue 1. Tablet isn't actually connected to Wi-Fi, so can't download the attachments. He thought they were, as his tablet had the Wi-Fi symbol on, with an exclamation mark. Solution. Try resetting Wi-Fi connection. Issue 2. Tablet now can't find any Wi-Fi networks. Solution. Turn everything off and bring back on one at a time. Thankfully, turned out turning Bluetooth off was enough to fix it. Issue 3. Printer was on another network. Solution. Simply change the network the printer is connected to. This took a half hour. 20 minutes of it being finding the instructions on how to connect this printer to Wi-Fi. The other 10 being restarting the printer every time I tried a password, because the Wi-Fi connection procedure had to be done from turning it on. He handed me a list of passwords. Yes, I mentioned how bad it is just to have a list of passwords written down, even if you keep it in the till, but couldn't remember which was for that Wi-Fi network. In the end, got a free sandwich and a bottle of Dr. Pepper. Well, it wasn't totally free, you got a little something out of it. Might not have been to scale, but you got something. It was 1,000,000 to 1 shot, Doc. 1,000,000 to 1. I was just about to take a sip of coffee when my boss busted into my office. OP, this is bad. Really bad. You know that label printer we keep in the back? Me. You mean the one that we print literally thousands of labels on every week? The one that occasionally clogs the rewinder and spews labels all over the room unless someone's babysitting it during the entire print? That's the one. We've got a big problem now. You know how every single client uses white labels, right? Yeah, and? Well, we just received the rolls of 100,000 black-backed labels one client requested. Me. Okay. And they're too dark for the sensor to tell whether there's a label or a gap. It thinks nothing's loaded every time. Me. Can't we set it to continuous mode and skip the sensor altogether? This thing's older than my grandmother. It doesn't have that setting. Can we skip the calibration step? Tried that too, but the whole thing goes off the rails after about 20 labels. So I started to walk into the printer room. I won't lie to you boys, I was terrified, but I pressed on, and as I made my way past the coworkers, a strange calm came over me. I looked at the display on the printer while it was printing a roll of white labels. Printing 1 of 1, it said, happily spitting out label 500 or so. And then it hit me. Once the printer detected labels, the software took over and sent everything to the printer as a single unit, after which it did whatever it was told. I don't know if it was divine intervention or the kinship of all cranky things, but I tell you, at that moment, I was a printer technician. I grabbed a pair of scissors and a roll of tape and snipped a few white labels off a roll, 3 to be exact, the number needed for the calibration step. I taped those labels to the end of a roll of black labels and loaded it into the printer. The air was heavy with anticipation as, one by one, the white labels spooled through the printer, and just before the black labels hit the sensor, the display read, "Ready." By rights, it shouldn't have worked, but just this one time, it did. Well, OP, I don't know if you're a tech or not, or if you're just a printer, but this is a sign of a true tech and not just a parts swapper. You were able to troubleshoot the problem, come up with a solution, and make it happen. Good for you. I need a VM. So this is technical support for university students who didn't get their way with university IT. Backstory time. I work in IT security and run my own home lab, complete with Dell R730s, virtualized ESXi, firewall appliances and proper switches, routers, etc. Anyone who's been to my house is aware of this. They've all seen the rack at some point or another. Friend equals master's student researching memory analysis. ER, also more of an acquaintance that I just tolerate. Me equals some random dude, probably not important. Friend, hey, you've got a home lab, right? Me, yes, mostly running expensive VMs that I use for dev testing and corporate stuff. Why do you ask? Friend, I need a large VM. University won't give me what I want. Me, what are you asking for? They've got lots of spare resources specifically for grad students doing research papers. Friend, 16 cores, 48 gig of memory, 2 terabytes of SSD storage, and standardized networking. Me, okay, that's excessive. What could you possibly be doing to justify that kind of resource usage? Friend, memory analysis research. I have 150 memory dumps at 4.5 gig each. Me, using volatility? Your ask is very excessive for that use case. What did they give you? 4 to 6 cores, 8 to 16 gig of memory, and a terabyte of storage? Friend, 8 cores, 16 gig of memory, and 1 terabyte of storage. Me, I'm somewhat confused. That's more than enough for you. What exactly is wrong? Friend, I don't have root on the VM and I don't have enough resources. Me, well, you do have enough resources, but I would ask them for root if you need it. Fast forward a couple days and they won't give him root to install and use specific programs. Instead, they give him permissions to run those programs as sudo. He's upset and still harassing me about it. I can't do anything about it though. Me, here's a VM on my network. Here's a VPN login to my network. There is an ESXi server here that you can access with this set of username and password. I built you a VM on that server that you can access. Its username and password is another set of credentials, and root is root credentials. You don't have permissions to do anything else. Friend, resources? Me, that's about the max I can assign you, and is in line with what the university gave you anyways. I agree with their assessment of your needs, even that's probably a little over-spec'd. Next day, friend, hey, I broke the VM I think. It's always complaining about permission issues. Me, did you change the permissions on the file structures? Friend, yeah, I kept getting permission issues, so I did recursive chmod 777 on / as root. Me, internally, are you effing kidding me right now? Me, yeah, I'm not fixing that. Have you got a backup of your data? I'll reset the VM and you can reinstall the OS. Friend, no backup of the data. Deleted it off my local machine, taking up too much space. Me, very frustrated. Build new VM, load disk, retrieves data, wipes old VM. Me, don't touch file permissions if you can't figure out what you're doing. Run your Python scripts, build your data sets for this. Monkeying around with the VM is just wasting a lot of your time and my time. A couple months later, laziness, I get a message. Hey, I'm done with my thesis finally. Took a while to get the analysis done on the hardware. Thank you. Meanwhile, I get a stat reports from ESXi on resource usage. The VM spent over 90% of its time alive, reasonably inactive. I'm not sure why he didn't just tell his Python script to work through the list of files in a structure, but whatever. I don't know enough about any of this to even comment intelligently, so I'm going to leave it here. The enemies within. You mean my username is my username? As usual, all identifying information has changed, e.g. that ain't the user or password. 7:47 a.m. Email. Network engineering queue. I can't log into the fax system. My username and password don't work. User. C. Fraser. Password. And Outlander 8. Here's what I had them set to. Great, someone forgot their username. No big deal, easy to fix. So I try to reset their password to what they had, and it won't let me. Turns out the password they thought they had was already there. Hey Claire, I set your password to &Outlander 9. Try it again. It didn't work. Upon closer inspection, their username, C. Fraser, had been reset to Claire Fraser Fax. Further conversation with the knock person related some rather important facts about what happened. They had been given a personal fax number, and they edited their user to add the fax number. I didn't know changing my username would change my username. This person has admin access and I can't remove it. Yeah, there's a lot of people in these companies that shouldn't have admin access to anything. Hey guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. If you've enjoyed this content, would you do me a favor and consider giving this video a like, subscribing to the channel, and maybe click the little bell icon so you don't miss the fat guy with the beard telling you stories. See ya!